In today's video, I'm going to share with you how to design a church flyer similar to this, and let's get started. Hi everyone, my name is Bright, and on this channel, we make videos on graphic design, Photoshop, and also share some tips in technology. If this sounds like something you're interested, then kindly consider subscribing. These are the resources we are going to use in our design project today. In the description below will be the link of where you can get all these resources and also use it for your design project. The picture for the Prophet Stephen Adonchedia and the logo for Believers Worship Center may be subjected to copyright, and I really acknowledge the rightful owners of this image. Let's get into our project. So click on File, click on New. It's a social media flyer that we are designing for Instagram and other social media platforms. So we're going to choose 4 inches width by 4 inches height. That's 4 by 4 inches. And I'll put the resolution at 300. So I'll click on Create, and I'm now going to work on my background. I'll click on this chevron and click on solid color. I'll choose this color. This is the color code for the color. Now I will go to File and go to Place Embedded to place the paper-like background on it too. So I'll go to Place, then let's Control T to transform, then right click, then I will flip it horizontal. Now rotate my image to, let me say something like this. Now I'll drag it upwards to fill the background nicely. At least it should be, let me say, about 60%. You bring your mouse on the ruler, you click and drag a line here. So my ruler is in percentage, so you can also change yours to percentage. Just right click on it on the rule and change it to wherever you want to do. So now I will bring this guideline here just to guide me, just to know that my paper background here is up to 60% of the background, the whole background. So you just want to enlarge only the lower part. So you hold Shift, then you put it on the line like this. Okay, you now click here to take it. Our paper background is also ready. Now we're going to click on the layer for the paper background, then go to this chevron here, then click on multiply, and we reduce the opacity to 90%. That's it, 90%. So we are done with our background here. Now we are going to insert the picture or the image in it. So I'll go to File, I'll go to Place Embedded, then select the background of the image has already been taken care of. Then I'll click on Place. Now my image is placed on my background nicely. I'll adjust it to the size that I want. After that, I'll click on here to check it. Now I have placed my image on it, but see the image, I need to do some few touches on the image. So I'll select the layer for the image, then go to my adjustment layer here, then select levels. So I want to make sure these levels I'm placing on doesn't affect the whole image. So I will click on this thing here to click mask it to only the image. Now I will increase this one a little bit. Very good. And also decrease this one a little bit. That's it. Then I will come to my hue and saturation. Then I also uncheck it to click mask it to only the image. So I will uncheck it here. Now I will increase the saturation a little bit. Let me say I'll put it on 23. That's 23, and I think this one is okay for now. So I will come and place in the other image I'm also having here at the background. That's the faded image. So I'll go to File, go to Place Embedded. Now I will place this image in it. It's also a PNG image, so I will click on Place. Now I'll drag it to where I want to put it. Let me reduce the size a little bit. Very good. So I'll place the image just beneath the image I'm having here, and I think that this one is okay. And I will now bring this layer just beneath the image, the main image, the first image I placed on, so that the image will now be behind the first image I placed on. So before that, let me hold on the control button, and let me hold on the control button and select these layers here, then press Ctrl G to group it, and let me name it image 1. So this one will also be named image 2. I'll click on the name to change it to image 2. After naming my image, I'll check it like this. After naming my image, I'll click on the layer for the image 2 and select screen. That's screen mode. So I'll blend the screen mode, then reduce my fill to 20% and press OK for that. And that's it for the image at the within the background. So I'm having two images here, the first image here and the second image here. So that's it for my images here. We are now done with the image placement and left with us adding the text and other elements to the design. Okay, so to make it look professional, let me start with the logo. So I will come to file and go to place embedded, then I will select the logo here, then go to place, click on place. Now the image is on it like this. Let me reduce the size and place it at the top left. So I reduce the size for the image. Okay, then I'll check it out. You can check it, or you can click on the check button here, or you can double click within the image to check it. Now I'll place it here like this. Let me reduce the size a little bit, so like this. Then I'll check it. I'll place it like this. Okay, I'll place it so that it will be like something like this. Okay, now I will add the name of the church, Believers Worship Center. So I'll select my test tool. Then select my fonts. I want to use the Arial font. So I'll select the Arial, then change it to black. That's it. Instead of bold, I'll change it. Instead of regular, I'll change it to black. Then type my words here, believers. So believers. That's it. Believers at the top here. Then I'll click on OK, or I'll click on the check button there. But here we have to do some few editing to these believers. With that, so we will go to the gradient overlay of this. So you select the FX here. Once you have clicked on the believers layer, you go to the FX down here. Then you go to gradient overlay. So we are going to add a little bit of gradient to it. We don't want the blue gradient because the background is already blue. So we come here, we go to let me say the oranges gradient. So we select this gradient here, counting from here. That's 1 and the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the fifth one, and we select it like this. Then we click on OK. But we want gradient to be something like the yellow should be on top and the orange color should be on down. So we change the direction. So we change the direction of the angles to -90. Then we click on it like this. We click on the color, reduce the opacity of the orange color. You click on the top one here, then you reduce the opacity of the orange color to, let me say, 94 is okay. Then you click on OK. So you click on OK here too. You then move it to the point where you want to place it. So I want to place it here. Then I'll place my believers there. Now I'll come back to my text tool. Then type worship center. Worship center. Okay, so I'll type the worship center, then click on this check button here to check it. Now I want to do some few editing or few touches on the worship center here. So I'll click on my text tool. I can click on the text tool and edit it with this one, or I can click on my text tool and show up the property by clicking on this thing here. So the properties for the text will also pop up. Let me move it to this side. Very good. So every editing I will do here, I can do it with the property. Better still, I can do it at this side too. So I will select a white color for it instead of the yellow. I will select white color for it. So yellow, then I'll select the white color. Click on OK. Then change the font to regular. Font to regular. Very good. Now I'll come back to my move tool so that I will move it beneath the believers like this. Let me bring it down a little bit. So I'll bring it down like this. Then let me reduce the size. Let me reduce the size of the worship center to fit or to be in line with the believers. So I can double click inside to check it, or I can click on this check button to also check it like this. So I'm having my believers worship center here. Let me hold. I'll hold on the control key. I'll select the layer of the worship center. Hold the control key to select the layer of the believers. Then press Ctrl plus G to group them. Then let me double click on it to name it believers. That's BWC, believers worship center. I'll hit on enter. Now I can, with the group layer, the BWC group layer selected, I will bring it down a little bit. Very good. Bring it down a little bit. Now I'm done with the name of the church, but I want to add a little bit of style to it. So I will go to my shape tool, then right click it on and select the rounded rectangle. Then change the fill in color. I don't want to get a fill in color, so I'll click on this one, no color. Then I'll come to the stroke. I want to get a stroke, so I will make the stroke the purple color. If you're not having a purple color here, you can also come to this color section, then come to this side, then you choose the color you want to use it for the rounded rectangle. So you click on OK. Now we are done. So I'll click on my shape tool. Now I will draw a rounded rectangle around the worship center and has leave the inside part. So the stroke is very big and I want to decrease it. So let me say I want to decrease it to 4 pixels. 4 pixels is okay. 4 pixels is okay. So I'm now having this one here. This one does not look all that round. So let me go to the property of it. Whilst the rounded layer is selected, then I will increase the radius a little bit to make it round. So I'll increase it to, let me say 54. 54 is okay. And I'm now done with this one. So I want to add a little bit of style to it. So with the rounded rectangle layer selected, I'll come to my eraser tool, select my eraser tool. I'll then right click on the rounded rectangle to rasterize it. After rasterizing it, I'll now get a permission to work on it. So I will use the eraser tool, then select the type of eraser. Let me increase the hardness a little bit. Let me reduce the size. Okay, so to my eraser tool. So I would erase some parts of it just to add some style to it. So I'll erase it from this part. You see, whilst I'm erasing, I'm finding it is not going as I want it to be because the flow and the opacity is at 50-50. So I will increase it to 100%, then increase this one to 100%. Then I think now I can erase some part of it to make it very nice. So I want to erase it up to the beginning of the C. So I will do something like this. Very good. Just to add some styles to my design. Now I'm done with the church name and the logo. So let me close this one to get a space here. I want to now add the text. That's the voice of God. The voice of God. In the description below will be the font style I used in this. Now I will come to my text tool, then select my text tool, then I will now type the voice. The voice. So after typing the Sunday, I'll click on my text tool, then click on this button just to open the properties or the character to edit my text. So I will now back to the move tool, select the Sunday, then edit it. I want to reduce the size, so I'll reduce the size to something like this and place it in line with the second chance logo here. Okay, so let me increase it a little bit so that, okay, like this, that's showing every Sunday. So let me increase the okay, I'll check it, then let me increase the symbol for the second chance to a little bit, then I'll check it too. So that's it for the logo for the TV station. And also I want this every Sunday and the second chance to be in line. So I'll select the every Sunday, that's the layer for that. Then select the press on Control key, then select the layer for the logo too. Then I will come to this side, this upper part, then I'll click on this, meaning they are in line, that's horizontally. So that's it for this, but I want to bring them to the middle too. So let me select the Sunday, the layer for Sunday, and hold on Control key, select the layer for the logo, then move it to, let me say, the middle, so that it will be in line with center align with the God for that one too. Now it's now time for us to type in our location. So I will go to File, then go to Place Embedded to bring up the location icon. So I will select on it, then click on Place. So let us reduce the size of the location icon too and move it to this side like this. Let's reduce the size again. Very good. Then I'll check it. So this is the location icon here, and we are going to write our location, but we need to place some shadow on it. So let's zoom our work. You hold the Control key and hit the plus key to zoom it. So after zooming it, we are coming to add, I want to add a little bit of shadow just beneath the location icon. So I will select my shape tool, then select the ellipse tool, then draw an overlay shadow just beneath the location icon. So I'll come to the properties of the shape, then select the color and choose color black for it, then go to the stroke and also choose color black for the stroke too. Then I'll close it back. Now I'll move it upwards a little bit. So let me move it closer to the location icon there, just for it to look like a shadow, something like that. Now we want to make it look real, so we zoom it. When zooming, you hold Control key, then you hit on the plus button to zoom it. Now we want to make it blur, so we select the circle, or we select the shape over there, then come to filter. After selecting filter, we go to blur, then we select on then we select on the Gaussian blur just to blur it, but we have to convert it to smart object first. So you click on convert to smart object. Now you can blur your shadow to look more realistic. So something like this, something like, not all that. You don't have to let it pop up, just something like something quite cool to make it look like a shadow. Okay, then you click on OK. So you now zoom back, so you hold your Control and hit the minus key to zoom back to where it was initially, or you can hold the Control and press the zero key to zoom it back, just like that. But now let's reduce the opacity of the shadow for it to look more realistic. So you select the layer for the ellipse tool, then you come to the opacity and set it to, let me say, 60. 60 is cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So you select it to 60, and we are now done with the location logo. So we are going to type in where the location will be. The location is at the Kenyanse Aduman, that's Teacher Nkwanta Kumase. So you type it in just like that. You select your text to Kenyanse Kenya say, yo, the text is white, but don't worry, after that we're going to change it. Kenya say hyphen aduman. Something like this. Then you bring your comma very nicely. Now you check it, then come to the move tool to make it active. Select the layer of the Kenya say aduman, then change the color to, let me say, blue. Yeah, you can use the eyedropper to click on anywhere you want to change the color to. So I want to change it to blue, and that's it. So I want to change the font to also, I want to use Arial font. So instead of Mogula, I will come here, then change it and choose Arial. Then I will select Arial bold for it, and that's it for the Kenyan say aduman. So let me place it at where I want to place this one. So I want it to be in the center line with the location logo. So I'll leave it like this. Now the next thing we're going to add is the teacher and Kwanta, that's Kumase. So I will select on the Kenya say aduman layer, then press Ctrl J to make a duplicate. So Ctrl J to make a duplicate, then drag it downwards. Drag it down, and you now come back to select your text tool. Text tool, you bring it up to the last end of it, then you hide it. Then you type in the teacher and Kwanta. So you teacher, okay, teacher and say Kumase. Okay, so you now adjust it to where you want it to be. So I want it to be in center line with this one. So better still, if you think you are not sure whether it is in center line with this one or not, you can select the teacher and Kwanta layer here, then select the Kenya say aduman layer. You click on it, then you hold Control and click on the next layer, meaning you have select both layer. Then come to up here, then you click on the middle one, align horizontal centers. So you click on it, and they are in the center for you now. Let me move it up a little bit so that it will get closer to the location symbol. Okay, and I think that's it for my location too. It's now time to add the telephone number, but on the telephone number you're going to put it in another rectangle. So I'll go to my shape tool, right click and select the rectangle tool, then draw a very nice rectangle just beneath it like this, something like this, and that's pretty cool. We change the color here to a gradient. We change the color here to a gradient. So you select on the property, you select where this red line is crossing, and you are not more going to choose color, but you come to this part, that's the gradient part. You click on it, then you go to your I'm going to use this one. So you go to the blues there, the blues over here, then you select it out of it, something like this. It's cool. Something like this is also cool. Or you can choose any color you want. It's just a color choice. So I'm using this color like this. Then I will come back to my stroke here. I don't need the stroke, so I'll choose no stroke. Then I'll select on this one. Now I'm having my color here, so I will adjust it to where I want it to be, but I want it to go behind the image of the prophet. So something like this is cool, but I will come and select the layer for the rectangle, then move it, click and hold it, then move it down to below the image too, so that you see that it has now go behind the prophet. Then I can now type in my information. So I can type in for any info. So let me copy this every Sunday, the layer for the every Sunday here, then use it. So Control J to copy. Now I'm having the copies. You can see that the layers are now 2. So I'll select it, then move it to wherever I want to move it to. So I want to bring it downwards. Now I'll move it downwards like this. Very good. But it is now behind the rectangle I'm using, so I have to bring it in front of the rectangle so that you can see it well. So I'll hold and click and hold the layer there, then move it upwards on top of the rectangle, and you see it is now showing on the rectangle. Now I want to reduce the size a little bit, but before that, let's type the text we want to use. So I'll select my to the right side of it, click and highlight it, then type in for any information. So for info, I think that's pretty cool. So for any info, then okay, I'm done. Now let's reduce the size. Let's reduce the size to where we want to. Okay, so something like this. Like this. If you want to get an accurate result, you can zoom it where you hold control, then you'll be hitting on the plus key on the keyboard. So you can zoom it to get the accurate information like that. Then you click on the check box there to check it. So now I'm having for any information here. Very good. I want to type in the contact number we will use. So I'll now select the layer, then press Ctrl J to make another copy, then drag the copied one downwards. After that, I will come and select my text to bring it just at the right hand side of it, then highlight it. After highlighting, I'll type in my number. So I'll type in the contact I want to use. So plus 233, then plus 233, then I'll give Adon something like this. So Steven Adon, then I'll bring the Chedia down. So Che hyphen dia. That's cool. Here I want to change the font, so let me check it first. Now select it. Okay, let me go to my text tool, click on this here. Now I will now open the text property panel. Let me drag it to this side, change the font to Arial. So I'll select on Arial, and I want to close the gap between the prophet and the Adon Chedia, and also the Stephen Adon, and also the Chedia. So I'll come to this one, then click on number, let me say 11. You see, it will send it, it will close it a little bit. Let me choose 10 to, it will close it like this, and I want to do it like this, and I want to do it center align. I want to center align it. So on the top here, I will select the center align like this to make it like this, and I want to change the color to black. So I will select the color picker, then come to black, then click on OK. So I can now move it into the circle, place it at where I want it to be, like this, very nicely. So let me reduce the size a little bit so that it can fit in the circle very nicely. So something like this. It's now time to add the lighting effect to the face of the prophet. So I will first select my brush tool, then select the image layer. So I'll select on it, then rasterize the image layer. So I right click and click on rasterize layer, then bring it back here, adjust the size of my brush to my liking. I want to leave it like this, here to 385 pixels, the hardness to 0%. Then click back on my brush tool. Now I want to choose the color which I will use for the lighting effect. So I'll go to the foreground color, then I want to use, let me say, quite orange color. This is the color code for the color I'm using. So click on OK, then I will click on the face of the pastor. But before that, you have to check whether the opacity and the flow is, so put the opacity to 50%, you put the flow to 50%, you put the smoothness to 60%, then you click once on the face of the pastor like this. And I think we are done with church flyer design. Very simple one, of course. Let me save it. Ctrl S to save it. But here it has been saved in a PSD format. So I want to save it in, let me say, JPEG or in a picture form. So I'll hold Ctrl Shift then S, then go to Save As. I want to save it on my computer, so click on my computer, give it a name. Maybe I want to give it Believers Worship Center. But here I will now come to I will now come to this side, that's the second save as type, and change it to JPEG like this. Then give it a location where I want to save it to. I assume I want to save it on my desktop like this, so I'll select the desktop. Then I will press on save. I'll click on save and choose it the maximum. It depends on you whether, but the higher the quality, the higher the size. So I want to use the quality 12, that's maximum. Then click on OK. Now I have saved my work in a JPEG format. You can also try your hands on it. After that, send it to me through my Instagram handle so that I'll check it up on you. Let me hear from you if there's any suggestion or question in the comment section. And thanks. Bye bye.